let's get right into it.
Yeah, I mean, Big Boss, he did well at Gamescom earlier this year in Germany. He's looking to repeat a third place or higher this time at No Time to Tilt 2025. We'll see if he can get through this snake player that Germany offers him first. And just straight off the bat, Tapsy going for a lot more scrapping than I thought would be.
Yeah, you would expect that more defensive game plan based around, you know, like the grenades and almost making Big Boss come to you. But maybe Tapsy just thinking, right, let's hit it with something else. Let's go for a scrap. But however, it not quite working out. And this is where this is a big thing in the matchup, right? It's this. The moment that Tapsy is in disadvantage, you can just rinse and repeat over and over until that stock is gone. That forward air being able to knock out a Cypher is such a huge thing in the matchup. And it just meant that Tapsy, time and time again, had to reset that up B, got knocked far away where the air dodge was the only thing, and Big Boss was there and ready with that side B. Again, surgical advantage used time and time again. And now suddenly, Tapsy very much electing for that more defensive game plan. However, lovely tech chase there on the platform, not quite getting the conversion afterwards, but Tapsy just trying to get something started. Grenade intercepting as well. Very much back and forth at the moment here, Kiwi.
Yeah, I mean, a potentially ill-advised side B in the air somehow doesn't get punished. That's quite a big blow for Tapsy. But like you said, the Rob edgeguarding in this match will be huge. Able to just go ahead, know that he's expecting the down smash and getting it down air yourself. That's some good awareness from Tapsy, and even setting up the grenades to know that he can't get punished from just neutral get upping here. This is... He's thinking. It's early in the day, but his brain is turned on.
I was going to say, that's a really specific option as well to call out. The fact that Big Boss instead could have just waited and reacted to the up B above the stage was really interesting there. But again, Tapsy just having that awareness to go, right, you are fully committed in, I know exactly your option, and I'm going to get, not only avoid the situation, but to get a kill off it as well is really impressive to see. As you say, this man is switched on at the moment, and for all of these things that we were saying right at the start of the game, it does feel like Tapsy has been slowly but surely making his way back into this game, and with a couple of nickels and dimes, a couple of two pieces here, we could see an evening out, potentially going into Tapsy's favor. However, the slower pace of the match is something that Big Boss is more than happy to participate in if it means that he is going to be able to survive a little bit longer. 150% high up B, trying to meet him there with the up end. Nothing happening so far here. Just, again, these little pieces. Yeah, the dash attack finally managing to secure some space here against Big Boss, but Tapsy has been living here for so long, Kiwi, but there it goes.
Yeah, finally getting the up throw from Big Boss, and you see so many of that stock was just individual hits, like you were saying, the nickel and diamond coming through here. Big Boss, of course, able to just sit there, charge the gyro, wait for his laser to charge up. He can just sit there and play the zoning game here. Let's see if Tapsy's able to follow with this Nikita, as so far he's actually been able to catch all the options, but unfortunately it's ending not the way that Tapsy would hope, and that means we're back to neutral, just playing around this Pokeball. I believe this might be the first PS2 we've seen today as well.
I was going to say, yeah, it's been a lot more small battlefield to say, but again, these little trades finally working out in the favor of Tapsy, allowing him to get that down throw into the up tilt. So Big Boss finally going to be losing that stock. And again, it only takes a couple of grenades. Tapsy trying to get a little bit clever there with the gyro into Nair 1. However, Big Boss just biding his time. And we can see there, Tapsy very hungry for that reversal, trying to get the forward air off stage. Certainly would have spelled an end to that game one. But again, Big Boss also very much awake right now, knowing those situations where he could lose the stock early and just doing his best to negotiate his way out of them. However, the dash attack out of the corner into the grenade, we've suddenly got ourselves an even game here.
Yeah, this game could go either way. A C4 blowing up will send Big Boss high. Able to juggle with the gyro is Tapsy. Just tries to run up an up smash, but the... Oh my god, cannot believe that Nikita stopped that from happening. And now Tapsy tries to go for the down air, trying to read an air dodge. Big Boss gets the grab. Will he be able to convert off of this? Just a straight up smash, and Big Boss, in a very tight game one, will take it.
I was going to say, yeah, that rush for the up smash towards the end of Nikita saving, that was a... we could have that in slow motion. It would have been poetic, but, you know, Big Boss, again, just managing to clutch out. Maybe calling out the fact that there wasn't going to be too much of a mash there, anticipating it with the up smash. We could see, I like the fact that Tapsy almost like leaned into the controller, maybe trying to sort of get the mix up going of, you know, pretend that you're mashing really hard and then not.
Yeah.
But again, Big Boss time and time again. And just look at the difference in the player cam
I
between
was
these
getting
two
Tapsy
players,
is
right?
so locked in, man. This guy is jiving to whatever music is on in his ears. He is so ready to try and take this set off a Big Boss, and we're just gonna run it back straight to PS2, especially with that game being last hit. I'm not that surprised.
Honestly. Meanwhile, Big Boss just sort of thankful that the game went in his favor. You can see, you know, hand to chest, just trying to keep that heart rate down, trying to keep that mentality locked in. Again, it's so difficult when Snake has got such versatility in his kit and in terms of his movement options and the way that he can play. Sometimes it can take a bit of time to adjust to the way that the Snake plays, and I feel like Tapsy in particular is very much doesn't really like to play defensive unless he really has to, right? He likes being that little bit aggressive. He likes going for those haphazard options to really catch you off guard. And Big Boss maybe needing that little bit of time just to adjust. And what on earth was that
God.
recovery from Tapsy? Utter insanity there.
That was such good awareness from Tapsy. He's able to just know that the grenade's going to send him to exactly that right height, just barely pop him over. Unfortunately, none of them got the kill from it, but Rob Nair just goes through that cipher and will actually be able to get the kill there. Tapsy's looking for this kill straight back, just looming with an up tilt. Goes for the forward tilt instead, just put Big Boss off stage. Even getting hit out of it will still find its mark, but unfortunately no kill just yet.
Yeah, and Big Boss just rolling into that grenade, 165% at that perfect grab range. And we can see here Tapsy already smelling that blood in the water. However, these trades, again, Big Boss more than happy to trade in these situations and is just happy to stand right next to Tapsy and watch the explosions fly as 53, 60%. A little bit more for his troubles. Those grenades going to start killing fairly soon if they weren't so stale, but the forward tilt across stage still not going to secure that stock. And 240%. We are nearly at sudden death range.
Yeah, that was really good from Tapsy there, just firing the up smashes, knowing that Big Boss is getting low on that fuel, and Big Boss had no option but to air dodge past him and just waiting and looming with an up tilt. That was really good awareness from Tapsy once again, and for how high percent Big Boss just was, he's already at 70% just in this fresh stock.
Yeah, we can see at the moment that Tapsy trying to get some shenanigans started on that right-hand platform. Big Boss just getting his way out of there with the down air. However, the Nikita once again going to be hunting down Big Boss, just about getting that forward air out before it was too late. And again, the trades between these two is not looking too bad. However, a little bit of a misinput, but not quite getting the punish that he was after. Instead, just going for that up throw, not quite securing the stock just yet. However, a low neutral air, not quite going to do it so far. But the ledge trap continues. Another trade in the favor of Big Boss, and just the rock'em sock'em just sweeping with the left hook, sending Tapsy into that right-hand blast zone.
Yeah, lovely there from Big Boss. He's just setting up the gyro at the ledge. Something I did not realize is that if gyro is that close to the ledge, the Cypher will just send it flying, which is honestly huge for not letting Rob set up too many of his shenanigans that you may want to get done. Tapsy, of course, being slightly behind in this match beforehand, is if he gets this kill now, this is still so doable for him, even though he was so far behind initially from that 250% that Big Boss died on in the first stock. Tapsy able to get a forward tilt, just send Big Boss off stage. This could be the moment here. Big Boss trying to disable it, but lovely weave around it. You've got so much fuel, might as well use all of it.
And again, it's just that matchup awareness, right? Just knowing that even in that really spicy situation, you are able to get out. And unfortunately, losing that Mario Party minigame, unfortunate DI is going to send Tapsy to his death a little bit earlier than he would have liked, and looking pretty solid there for Big Boss. And I think that's a really key moment that we should probably hone in on, is the fact that both these players, although it's been very fast paced, they've been getting to these ridiculously high percents. Obviously, we had the outlier of that 240 from Big Boss, but both of them been getting to that sort of 140, 150 range before those kills have been secured. So getting a kill at 85 with an up air is such a beautiful bonus that Big Boss is hopefully going to try and recreate. Meanwhile, Tapsy gonna have to let it not face him, and a wonderful two-piece
up tilt to start the game.
I love that.
73% already with these grenades adding on, and Tapsy clearly starting this game off with a bang. Tries to catch Big Boss going high and will. Let's see if he can just barely catch him going around. A lovely air dodge from Big Boss, but Tapsy knows his advantage state. Maybe he's caught onto all the defensive habits just yet, not letting him breathe. This is not what we're used to from Snakes, and what an amazing spot dodge from him into the up tilt. Tapsy, what a first stock in this game 3.
I was going to say, it feels like Tapsy's the kind of player that really likes to install fear in the opponents, right? Being able to really keep an eye, keep that advantage state going. It's almost, we were saying this about Tarek, about how, you get that one hit and it just flows and flows. But you see it with Tapsy here, where you had, the down air to cover the neutral get of feigning that ledge trump. Did it again to then cover with the back air, cover that roll on. And then, as you say, just that spot dodge call out into the up tilt. Such amazing awareness from Tapsy. And that's going to install fear into the heart of Big Boss, where at the moment you're seeing these second stocks play out just that little bit more typically, finally getting that back air at 140%. But again, you've got an entire stock to work around, and I love that. The tech chase trying to get something spicy started with that back air. Big Boss getting his shield up just in time.
Yeah, that was a lovely attempt at the coverage on the get-up attack from Tapsy. Unfortunately, doesn't get too much off of it. But now Big Boss is just going to be bouncing around these grenades, the gyros, the laser, everything to just try and make sure he doesn't have to interact with Tapsy too much, especially in these situations for him. Tries to go in for a Randy grab, but misses, but not too much ill-fated towards him. But the grenade will confirm on Tapsy himself into Big Boss's up air, and what seemed like an amazing game for Tapsy in the start is starting to go Big Boss's way.
Yeah, and all that rage loss means that forward tilt isn't quite going to kill either. Big Boss just managing to get his way back. However, a call out on the roll with the dash tag is going to even up those stocks. And again, Tapsy still keeping his grip on that win for the game 3. However, as you mentioned, that grip has loosened an awful lot since the start of that game. It's almost as if that 0 to death, it never happened in the first place.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same. You really would not have thought that this first stock went the way it did, but Big Boss clearly proving that it does not matter. Even with one stock, he can still take all 3. He could still win this game. And now he's just going to make sure that he can get out of this corner situation. Of course, having that C4 on the platform provides such a big explosive radius for the Snake to pressure you with. Going for these down tilts, potentially trying to get a trip, but it seems that none will come. And now Tapsy trying to slow things down. He's been so aggressive before this point, but now that we're getting towards the tail ends of the set potentially, he's starting to hunker down a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like that almost that haphazard, that, that young man's arrogance is really sort of beginning to wind back a little bit as that more stereotypical game plan, maybe recognizing the state that he's in, nearly losing it all on that grenade to up air from the Rob player. However, Tapsy still got that chance at life at the moment. It has been entirely the Big Boss show all of this third stock, and a lot of grenades have been doing a lot of work here for Tapsy, and nearly avoiding it. However, the perfect amount of rage, maybe a little bit of suspect DI, we'll never know, but Tapsy just about losing out as Big Boss makes his way into that winners qualifier. Again, a wonderfully close set, and Tapsy really taking it to Big Boss, but it's in those final little moments, it's been in securing those kills where Big Boss has just managed to eke out those wins, and is the reason why he is going to be progressing into the winner's side to fight Raflo for a spot in top 8.